DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hey, welcome to FLX Weekly here on Wednesday, September 16th, 2025. I'm Jim Sinecropi, live in the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. And today we're going to welcome Andrew Olden back to the studio. He's the Seneca Falls Museum and Tourism Center Executive Director. We're going to talk about an event coming up Saturday, an outdoor arts festival. We're going to get updates on you see these murals going up in town. We'll talk about those. We're going to talk about the World Canal Conference, which is coming up, and some of the officials on their way to Buffalo passing through. Canal Harbor renovations and improvements that have been going on all summer. We'll get an update with that. And, the actual where Andrew's home base, the Tourism Center and the Seneca Museum, the Tourism Center's moved to the corner of Fall and State temporarily for the summer. They're getting ready to reopen. So anyways, we got a lot to talk about if you're interested in what's going on in Seneca Falls. So today's episode is brought to you by Cafe 19. Breakfast, lunch, pastries, celebratory cakes, pies, and catering. Guaranteed fresh and always local at Cafe 19 in Seneca Falls. Also offering an assortment of beverages, including tea, coffee, and espresso drinks. Check out their full menus and weekly specials at xixcafe.com. Of course, you can order online there for pickup, which is nice, especially they get pretty busy sometimes in the morning when you might want to just pick up your coffee. And also Blush by CV Designs, a local women-owned business in the heart of the Finger Lakes, offering women's clothing and accessories, quality home goods, and unique gifts. See what everyone's talking about by visiting their location in downtown Seneca Falls, or browse all of their products online at shopcvdesigns.com. And of course, Christine and her team have been, they're well into fall now. They usually, with fall coming up around August, they start to do the conversion. But if you like fall and fall stuff for your home and fall clothes, you should stop down and see Christine, because they do a great job, and they're definitely in the fall mode, and soon it'll be Christmas mode probably. So get down there quick before they transition. Andrew, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
So you could tell off the top, there's a lot going on, right?
Oh yeah,
here in Seneca Falls.
Hey, that's part of being the birthplace of a revolution here, is continuing growing and reinventing, and we're just trying to continue to celebrate all the wonderful things that are going on in Seneca Falls, whether it's history, culture, arts. We're right at the crossroads of it all here in the midst of the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot to cover today, because there is so much going on right now in town. But let's start with the event Saturday. Tell us a little Outdoor Art Festival.
Yeah, so the Outdoor Art Festival is a new event that we're trying to put together here just to celebrate the art, history, and culture of the Finger Lakes region. So in general, we've kind of been working on this idea for a while, since Judy Wenzel and I applied for the grant through the Rochester Area Community Foundation to put the industrial and canal themed mural on the back of the 89 Fall Street facility, which the Seneca Falls Museum and Tourism Center is regularly located. Now that has been fully completed, we have been applied for grant funding through the Auburn Public Theater and the Erie Canal National Heritage Corridor to put on an event just to kind of celebrate this awesome milestone that we've reached as a community. The mural on the back of our building represents so many different assets of Seneca Falls, from industry to women in industry, to the knitting mill, the It's a Wonderful Life Bridge, the canal, all of it. So hoping to celebrate that, and we've got live music. So this is behind 89 Fall Street along the canal.
Kind of in that open space next to the mural.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll actually be an activation of the space along the
Right.
canal. Behind the old arcade building, next to the mural there, as you said, we'll have food trucks set up there. So it'll be Taste of Soul food truck, which is local, and then Sprinkle Starship, the local ice cream
Yep.
vendor as well. And then we're having a Full Moon gluten-free bakery set up there as well. We'll have some tables and chairs, and so folks can sit out there and listen to live music from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's Acoustic Vibes by Steve McLean up on our deck. So it'll be nice, relaxing music, so you can sit there and eat, check out the mural. And then on the other side, so the museum bathrooms will be open. Our facility is temporarily closed, but the restrooms will be open for the event.
Kind of like down where the boater facilities
Correct.
are. Okay,
yeah,
right.
which
right.
that was all renovated last year, right
Yeah.
before we closed with a grant from the Erie Canal Heritage Corridor. So it's got all new paint on the walls. It has a water feel to it, brand new flooring. So it's beautiful in there. And then behind the Fall Street Brewing Building, we've received permission from Brad to close off that area just temporarily. And we've got about a dozen art vendors that'll be set up there. So
Oh wow! So this will kind of span the canal side of downtown.
yeah, so
There. Saturday from 11 to 1,
correct.
and the weather looks great. It does every day right now.
Yeah, no, it's much better with our Music in the Park series. We had a few hiccups with the rain in the summer, but we're very thankful for this beautiful fall weather here. And I think it'll be a wonderful time for people to be able to come out and congregate and enjoy local vendors. So we've got everybody from the Artist Lounge and local FLX, which are brick and mortar institutions here in Seneca Falls. But we've got several other folks that are coming in from not only Seneca Falls but around the area.
To display some of their art.
Yeah, so that'll be there for sale. There's about a dozen vendors, including there's going to be face painting. There'll be there's a trucker hat company coming. The Gemstone Forest, which is local as well, doing cool art installations. The Minders Academy art group that is, I think, alumni and current students. They'll be there selling some of their artwork. And then in addition to all this, with the funding from the Auburn Public Theater and the Erie Canal Heritage Corridor, we were able to purchase a variety of free kids activities. So they'll be able to just engage with art, whether that's with crayons, oil pastels, water paints, regular paints. So there'll be a variety of ways just to people to be able to try different art mediums and see what they like. How do you know if you don't like? Try it.
Yeah, so if you are living in Seneca Falls, first of all, downtown in Seneca Falls is walking distance from almost everybody that lives in the former village. So a great day just to walk downtown, spend some time. Of course, there'll be plenty of parking around in downtown if you aren't within walking distance. An awesome way to get downtown and experience all this, and a great weather day, middle of September. What's better? What's better?
And honestly, I forgot to mention one of the most important parts. It's all free.
Yeah, free.
It's all free, beautiful weather. We get to see all those canal improvements. And then you can find this event on the Seneca Falls Museum and Tourism Center's Facebook or just at senecamuseum.com. There's event details, there's a few radio advertisements, and it's on social media as well.
Okay. So you mentioned the Canal Harbor improvements. You've been getting a front row seat for all of it all summer long. Been frustrating a little bit, to not have access to everything along the canal. You had to move the Music in the Park series, which was fine over at the community center. But is this finally starting to wrap up a little bit where we can kind of just enjoy the Canal Harbor again?
Well, just from a viewing perspective, I'm not privy to the inside baseball there, but from what I can tell, it seems to be really, really gearing up. It looks like they've almost got the stamped concrete brick look all the way down the canal there, so that's looks to be almost entirely finished. I could see that they're putting up the playground equipment today and yesterday over in People's Park, but I guess it's the old adage, you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? So it's been a bit of an alteration for us, especially with our facility being closed at 89 Fall Street and relocating there, then relocating our concert series and everything else. But it will be beautiful to reopen along the canal, and
which is coming soon, right?
Oh, I do not know the actual completion date, so I don't want to misspeak on that, but I do believe so. just by the optics of it all. It looks to really be coming together. It looked like they were putting together some light posts when I passed by this morning. So I'm really excited to see all that come together. It's going to make a great loop through the right along the canal, up the staircase to the It's a Wonderful Life Bridge, and over to the Ludovico Sculpture Trail. You can make a wonderful loop around that if you're into exercise.
Right, which before it just wasn't naturally looking. You had to like go down the. Now you can walk up the side of the bridge, the Wonderful Life Bridge. It'll be fun to see because it'll all be done come the Wonderful Life Festival and the 5K race coming up in December. It's exciting because we've really we've been operating at like 50% all summer. You know, we still had a pretty good summer, but when this is done, it's going to be a major improvement. And then you throw in the murals. Let's talk about the murals.
Sure.
One of them is on your building.
Correct.
Again, it's been tough for even the public to get a good look at it from the bridge with the leaves on the trees, and then the Canal Harbor not having access to cars and stuff. But I thought it came out fantastic.
Oh, I think it is. Pardon?
That's good.
I think it is wonderful, and honestly, it's very nice to see, and it will all come so much more together when the museum reopens, because there's several pieces on the mural that are actually from the museum. The lathe behind the man and the woman standing in the mural in our building is in the museum. It was from brought back from South Africa that had made its way over there. The one of the pumps in the top left corner is a Gould's pump, so I've heard several people comment on that, just kind of briefly looking at a few social media comments. The tugboat in the bottom left corner looks very similar to the tugboat that is an interactive exhibit that will be unveiled when the museum reopens here in a few months.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
gonna be exciting.
A few other things. The anvil that the man and woman are standing on looks eerily similar to the anvil from the Brady blacksmith collection in our museum. And then you can see that there's 3 waterfalls on the piece, and that is because there were 3 falls here in Seneca Falls.
People are always asking where the falls are. Well, they're on the mural.
Yeah, right.
But,
It'd be a lot easier to direct folks back there, and it was very awesome to work with Key Detail. I know you had a conversation with they and Judy, and
Really cool.
With that being said, I was able to send them a copy of The Flats, which was written by Arnold Barban in the 1980s.
Yeah, I've read that.
Yeah,
the pictures in there. It's really cool piece of our history. I think a lot of people know about what the flats were, but maybe especially the younger generation doesn't realize, the transformation that took place when the Erie Canal or the Seneca Canal was built through there. That's when the falls were removed in favor because you couldn't drive boats over falls. So now we had a canal and the Van Cleef Lake. So yeah, that's a good recommendation if anybody wants to pick it up.
What's exciting about all of that is when the museum reopens here in November or so, people will be able to get a relearning of all of that information. And we've got tons of exhibits that connects to all of this. So it's nice to see everything coming together in one. And then additionally, I previously mentioned the boater amenities area that we'd renovated. We've almost got that project complete because next summer we'll have free Wi-Fi in the harbor for boaters out there that are docking for up to 2 days.
Yeah, and it's also been difficult this summer without the not having boaters having access to the Canal Harbor like normal. I mean, over the past several years, in the summertime, the wall's just lined with boaters, and those people are mostly coming from out of town. They're on some sort of trip. They park for a couple nights. They walk up and eat in our restaurants and visit our sites. So it's going to be really exciting. Like I was saying earlier, I think the Wonderful Life Festival will be like a kind of a big unveil event for the Canal Harbor. But next summer is going to be really exciting because it's all going to be done and tucked in by then. You'll be back home in your normal, building.
It'll be wonderful. It's unfortunate that it happened during the 200th of the Erie Canal. However, next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States. We've got several big anniversaries coming up in the years to come, whether that's the 200th of emancipation in the United States or in New York State, the 100th anniversary of the Cayuga-Seneca Canal. So we'll be able to get our celebration in plenty over the next couple years, and we'll have wonderful new facilities to partake with. It's very exciting to see everything coming together. It all flows so well with tourism, history, arts, culture. I'm very fortunate that the organization, the Museum and Tourism Center I'm with, is right in a central part of all of this. And I'm very excited to see what we can continue to build and grow. hopefully the Arts Festival will give people just a taste of what is to come at our organization and in downtown Seneca Falls.
Yep, I want to remind people 11 to 1 p.m. This coming Saturday along the Canal, the Outdoor Arts Festival. First one, probably be an annual event.
I sure hope so. I know that this is part of the Seneca Falls comprehensive or the comprehensive plan for 2040. So we saw that, and we couldn't pass up such a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the murals being installed. And we sure hope this can become an annual event, because Seneca Falls is just such a wonderful destination, whether it's May or September.
Or December.
Correct, December as well. So all of that being said, I think It's a Wonderful Life will be especially magical this year.
So we talked about the mural
Yeah.
that's completed and amazing, but now this week, as we speak, probably as we speak, she's up on the wall painting on a second mural going up along the Ovid Street Bridge, 37 Fall, yeah, the old optometry office of my uncle. Yeah, this one's going to be different. It's going to be more like a photorealistic painting. Well, I shouldn't say photorealistic, but it's going to be much different than the kind of, I don't know if I want to call it abstract, but I don't want to spoil it for people who are going to see it coming up. But I mean, and also the two different mural artists, you have different methods. So the first mural, he kind of made a graph and then did each section of one by one. This one's more freehand, and it's kind of amazing to see how she's doing it, knowing what the final concept is going to look like when she's done. So if you get a chance, go driving through town, be careful in your car, don't cause any accidents, or when you're walking downtown, to just take a few minutes to watch her in action, because it's amazing, this huge wall now having this art installation. So yeah, I mean, geez, we've talked about so many things that are just going on in the past month or two here in town. I mean, there is a lot going on.
I will say it's my understanding that the doodle concept is just such a different framework, as you had said previously, from the other, as very structured it almost looked like.
Yep.
Now it's more of a free-flowing style, which I guess it speaks to the variety of art that we have and
Yeah.
the variety of methods you can take to bring such a wonderful product.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I sit on the Bonifiglia Family Foundation, who's facilitating these murals, and as we were going through the process, I was just like, how can they do this? How can they take this concept that you can put on a piece of paper and put it on a giant wall? And so it's been interesting to see now, with the second one underway, the totally different methods,
Right.
Which is cool. And I think there'll be more murals in the future too. So,
and I sure hope so. I firmly believe that art spreads love and culture in a community and helps it build and grow. And with that in mind, it's my understanding that the art festival will be kind of somewhat coinciding with the nearing completion of the second mural.
well, it should be done by the end of the week. I mean, fingers crossed. So yeah, it's.
What you said, not only the scale, but the speed in which these artists
Yeah.
work too is amazing. But
I thought it might take like a month or two to do one of these things, but they're banging them out in a week.
right, and there might be an opportunity. Hey, who knows? You might even be able to talk to the muralist at the art festival or while she's finishing up or something.
Yeah, she'll.
So,
Certainly will be around on Saturday.
yeah, with that being said, I think it's really going to help draw one end of the canal to the other. From bridge to bridge, it's really connecting us, and everything from People's Park to the rec center on one end to Trinity Church and the mural, and soon to be permanent home of It's a Wonderful Life again down there.
Yep.
So I think all of that will continue to help activate the space, bring in new families, bring in families who used to live here or people who are just looking for a new resettlement in life. I think that Seneca Falls is such a fantastic place to end up that we continue to do our best to show off all of the assets that it has as a town here.
The two murals are interesting too in that regard, and the fact that the first mural that went up really is a nod to the industry that built Seneca Falls. I mean, pumps that were made here in Seneca Falls powered, the movement of water or slurries or industrial processes all across the world, right here from Seneca Falls. And then we also had things like we built fire trucks, and then, there's even a time when the early color TVs were being built here in Seneca Falls at Sylvania, and then later Phillips was here, but the waterway. But that's kind of, the first mural was really heavily a nod to the industrial history in Seneca Falls, but this second mural is focused on the fact that we're the birthplace of women's rights, the site of the 1848 Women's Rights Convention, the idea that's accepted, internationally, that we're the birthplace of women's rights, where women, the push to gain the white right to vote for women was born here, and so that's what this mural's gonna represent. And I've always been a firm believer, like, we're the only place in the world that can claim that, so we should really lean into that. Like, in other words, there's a lot of places in this country and even in New York State where you have lakes or waterways or historic downtowns, but we're the only one that's the birthplace of women's rights.
And I might have mentioned this previously, but I moved out here from St. Louis, and I knew Cleveland, Cincinnati, the big cities,
Yeah.
but Seneca Falls is the only small town in 900 miles that I knew. I mean, I speak to college students got one set up for the University of Missouri here in a couple of weeks, but with that, every one of them knows about Seneca Falls, and that's very unique, especially as someone who's working in history. My background's in history.
So when you talk to this University of Missouri students, is about Seneca Falls, or?
Yeah, it'll be about Seneca Falls
Yeah,
and
that's
just about the
great.
historical profession in general. I received my PhD from the University of Missouri in 2023 in history, so it's such a unique way to get to reach people as opposed to writing an academic book with all this jargon and very formulaic written piece. It's a neat way to be able to connect people with, as you said, women's rights, but not only that, abolitionism was a huge part of that too. I mean, the Thomas James House here in Seneca Falls, he was a black barber, and he was allegedly the first person to cut Elizabeth Cady Stanton's hair short. So, I mean, the Farmington Quaker House was a big reason why this started here. The Burnt Over District in Western New York, all of that religious revivalism as well.
Harriet Tubman, just a few miles to the east in Auburn, where she made her home. There were stops on the Underground Railroad here in Seneca Falls. Frederick Douglass was here, for the Women's Rights Convention.
Not only that, it's just all of these movements, not as a singular movement, but these conjoined movements were not only here, but stretched across the state. I mean, Garrett Smith was in Peterborough, just south of Syracuse, and that's where they have the National Abolition Hall of Fame now. I mean, he was one of the funders for John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry. So, and who gave him property in the Adirondacks to be able to help build a free black community in the Adirondacks. And to kind of segue into that, that's something exciting that when the museum reopens, that's going to be our key new exhibit is an exhibit on the Underground Railroad in the Finger Lakes region. I mean, all the way down to Elmira and the John Jones House. He said to help over 700 freedom seekers trying to make their way north or to resettlement, working with people all the way from all the way across the board. It's very exciting also because the proposed Harriet Tubman Byway will run right down Fall Street, right in front of the museum. So, yeah, it's exciting to draw all of this together, whether it's the very visual piece of the murals that kind of help get your mind going with things, or the actual exhibits to connect all of this together and show how all of these movements, whether religious-based or human rights-based, were kind of really here at the Mecca in Seneca Falls and the greater Finger Lakes area.
So this is another good segue, I suppose, because there's a pretty strong argument to be made that none of these movements or any of the development in Seneca Falls or throughout upstate would have been possible without the Erie Canal being built.
The canal, the industry, all of that was, to my knowledge, pretty vital to all of this. You needed extra funds and extra manpower or person power. So if there was a very wealthy household, the woman often had more time to work on social movements and other ideas here in Seneca Falls. And that is one theory I've heard for the building of social movements here. So it is all very well connected. And I mean, hey, even the Seneca knitting mill, to my knowledge, was started with wool instead of cotton, so they didn't support the southern cotton market. So, I mean, working with the Union Sox as well during the Civil War. So all of that, there was just so much rich history that has built the foundation not only for Seneca Falls, but the United States here. So I can't speak on that enough of how important this area is to our national history.
And there's a good I'm excited about the Ken Burns documentary on the American Revolution that's coming up soon on PBS. I don't know when the actual release date is, but that, it all kind of fits together. You can go back to the American Revolution times and then look where we are now. And Seneca Falls has been a big player kind of as we've progressed through time here. But the World Canal Conference in Buffalo is coming up, and they're passing through Seneca Falls on their way. And we've had a few events this summer too, commemorating the bicentennial of the Erie Canal.
So yeah, as you said, the 200th of the Erie Canal is bringing people from all over the world to celebrate the Canals Conference here in Buffalo this year. So it's hosted in Buffalo, starts this Sunday coming up, and this week folks are coming again from all over the world, starting in New York City and working their way across the state to various spots. And we are, I believe, the second to last stop before they hit the conference in Buffalo, which is exciting because I will be at the conference representing Seneca Falls and the Museum and Tourism Center to chat about the canals, infrastructure, tourism, all sorts of various aspects that most people often don't think about when they think of canal. They see boater recreation, that sort of thing. But instead, there's a lot around that, whether that's the trailways, whether that's bringing people in for tourism on the canal, access to the canal, whether that's having boats for people that may not have kayaks or something, or for people that are differently abled and need a little extra assistance or need a little more stable walkways. So I think there's a lot of opportunity around the canals, but with this group coming through Seneca Falls, it's exciting that we're having the Arts Fest the same day because we get to show off how great the folks are here in Seneca Falls, and the murals, as I said, the other ones being completed. So that not only speaks to where we're coming, but where we're going, and how we've continued to progress and build as a community to show off how many different aspects there are to the folks in this area in the past and the present.
Well, we certainly didn't have trouble filling up our half hour talking about Seneca Falls, everything that's going on. I knew we wouldn't. But thanks for coming in. Good luck with the Arts Festival. Again, that's 11 to 1 on Saturday along the Canalside behind the former the current Seneca Museum at 89 Fall Street, and then down a little further behind Fall Street Brewing. So come down. Food trucks, live music, activities for kids, local art, to enjoy or purchase, and then also, get your first close-up look at the new mural on the 89 Fall Street and check out hopefully, I would imagine it's going to be completed by Saturday, the new mural along the Ovid Street Bridge there. Andrew, thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me, and I hope to see everybody out at the Arts Festival this weekend.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show, click like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next week. Wine Wednesday next week, Paul, I think, right? It's the last Wednesday of the month. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, so Catherine Chase will be here. I love Wine Wednesdays in September because the harvest is fully underway. We get an update on that. So we'll see what Catherine has planned for us. And then also working on there's a new book about the Seward family and their impact on New York. We're going to have the author probably be October for that, but hey, October is just 2 episodes away, so we'll have more update on that. But until then, thanks to my producer Paul Russo, thanks to Andrew Olden. Everybody, enjoy the weather here. What a great weekend we got on tap. The hits just keep coming day after day, so enjoy the fall weekend here in the Finger Lakes.